one of my favorite players to watch film of leading up to the draft. And to be honest with you, this is my first year really covering the draft or attempting to look at college prospects. Was Ahmad Gardner, and I don't know how his skills will translate over to. Well, let me rephrase that. I think I know. I might be wrong though, but their early returns show the same guy that was at Cincinnati. He's the loudest, quiet guy in the NFL right now. Like I feel like Ahmad Gardner is going to potentially be someone that just shuts people down playing what looks to be the left corner in the Jets defense. I've got 3 plays from him on the second possession of their preseason game against the Eagles. Of course, the Eagles got out to a really hot start. Really, people aren't testing Ahmad Gardner yet. I'm not sure why that is. Are the reads just set up for the other side of the field or intermediate or short routes? I'm not sure, but I'm going to show you 3 plays that I think illustrate his physicality, his size and athleticism, which are the obvious things. I think he's 6'2", 6'1", I believe. Long arms, very athletic, very focused, great technique. I think I'm a Ravens fan. This is a Ravens channel, and we face the Jets in week 1. I don't want to mess with them. I don't want to be the team that finds out. You know what I mean? Actually, I think what happens with Ahmad Gardner, and you saw it kind of in college, is like people don't throw at him because his coverage is so good, whether it's man or zone. So we're going to get into some of the film here. I'm going to show you 3 plays, and I'm interested to hear what other people think. I didn't find like other plays where he didn't play well, to be real. I just saw him either not being targeted or doing what he's doing on these plays here. So second possession, the Eagles eventually score. He's playing man. He's physical. He's just physical as all hell and heavy on people. So he's pushing the receiver this way, but he's keeping his hips and his leverage on this side. So when the receiver does come to bring this back here, Ahmad Gardner, A, is still with him, but B, he's still able to be heavy on him physically. I love how physical he is. I love how, look, first of all, you always got a great stance and looking right at the receiver. Occasionally, he's playing well, at least at Cincinnati, occasionally he was playing a technique to the boundary whereby his face mask was looking in the background or backfield. But generally, man, in this film, he's looking at his receiver, focused up, strikes first. Think of like offensive linemen and edge players. Guy that strikes first and strikes heavy and hard is usually the guy that wins because now he's got the other guy on the defensive. Ahmad Gardner is that way to me. Now, that play wasn't incredibly impressive because he wasn't targeted, but sometimes when you're not targeted, it's because your coverage is so good. So Ahmad Gardner is up here, and there is some pre-snap communication that happened here between these 3 players in dealing with those 2 receivers. We'll let the play run, and I'm going to point out a couple of things. Now, Gardner Minshew is in here at quarterback. He doesn't really look over here to the right until later in the progression, but there's some communication from this nickel safety to Gardner and the other safety about this number 2 receiver. Watch the routes that they run. So you've got this guy trying to get an outside release to Gardner. Who knows what he's doing? Is it a fade? Is it a fade go back to the sidelines? Probably not a fade go because 2 is going out as well. I think the number 1 route is essentially just a shield route to make the number 2 receiver, which is number 16, whose back you can see right now, available and open. And in my opinion, Ahmad Gardner is recognizing this. That's my point. I'm not talking about this guy with eyes in the backfield, not seeing, this route develop at all. It's at the goal line, dude. You know what I mean? This guy's not going to be able to defend that route from that depth. This guy's not playing it well, but that's not the point of this video. Ahmad Gardner recognizes that he's essentially guarding 2 guys right now. And by the time Gardner Minshew does get back over here looking this way, I think Ahmad Gardner is. I'm going to be honest with you. I wish it was parallel universes that happened, and Gardner Minshew probably believes in parallel universes. But I wish we had a universe where he throws the ball to number 16 out here, and we saw if and how Ahmad Gardner was able to defend it. And then another universe at the same instant where he was to throw the ball on like a fade to the back pylon to that receiver right there. I think Ahmad Gardner defends both of them. Let me know what you think. Based on his college film, let me rephrase it. I think he defends both of them. And I think whether you agree with me or believe that or not, that's fine. Whatever. The larger point is he has the awareness that it's happening. He's not just putting his body in position to stop this guy. he's putting his body in position to stop that receiver while looking in the backfield to see where the quarterback throws it. That's the whole point of my analysis of this play. I don't care about the rest of it that happened, and I don't want the Ravens to be the team that finds out how good he is. Third and final play that I'll show you is similar to the last one, except it's further out from the end zone. It was actually earlier. Ball's on a 17. It's a zone concept. You end up with these three defenders guarding these two receivers for the Eagles. So you can see it's similar to the last play I showed you conceptually. You have 3 over 2, so a zone concept for the defense. Of course, these two receivers are lined up wider, and the ball's on the 17, so there's more space from the line of scrimmage to the end zone. As we let this develop, though, you'll see 2 is going out, and 1 is kind of checking this up on like a hook or a curl, depending on your background. You may call it something different. Ahmad Gardner is trying to stay leverage side outside of 1 so he can break on this route. Additionally, if they did throw a flag route, depending on your age, post corner, whatever you want to call it, then Ahmad Gardner he believes with his athleticism that he will be able to defend that as well. Why can he do that? Because they've got this third defender on the inside leverage, so he's inside of these 2 routes. Gardner is outside of them. They're trying to funnel any vertical to the safety, but what I'm offering to you is Ahmad Gardner has high beams and low beams. He's got great eyes, just like the last play I was showing you where he was in the end zone. Remember, his feet were back here, and he had his hands on the number 1 receiver, but his eyes was looking back here at Gardner Minshew. Same situation here. Look, outside leverage on number 1, who could be running a curl, could be running a vertical, could be running a post corner or flag route, whatever your background is. However, he's also able to check up, come down on this outbreaking route here. I think he's a great man defender, and I think the film from college shows that. This is only 3 plays, so for me to make huge conclusions is a little bit premature. But we've got 3 plays of him here playing at a high level. I watched the first 2 possessions of the Eagles-Jets preseason game. I didn't see Ahmad Gardner targeted once. Let me know if you did. I did see him knock a receiver down to the ground, being physical with him on the first play. If you remember that game at all, Jalen Hurts scrambled out to the right side and threw it deep to Quez Watkins late on the play. He broke contain, so scramble drill situation. And I did see him be physical with one receiver, but I didn't see him get targeted at all. I want to see him get targeted. As a Ravens fan, you should too. Like, I want somebody to go after him a little bit in the preseason and see how he reacts. But as long as he keeps tight coverage like he showed on these plays here, he may not get targeted a whole lot, which is very similar to college. He wasn't targeted because the guys he was guarding just weren't open. Let me know what you guys think of my thoughts and breakdown in the comment section, but let me know what you think of Ahmad Gardner in terms of his impact. I think it's possible that he's an all-pro corner in his first year.